My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes in life we wake up and notice that certain people are no longer there. The call stops, the messages fade, the relationship changes, and our hearts begin to ask questions. Why, oh Allah, what did I do wrong? Why did this person leave my life? And in those moments, we often forget something very powerful, nothing. And no one leaves your life except by the permission of Allah. You see, Allah, the most wise, sees what we cannot see. He hears conversations we never hear. He knows intentions that were never spoken. And sometimes, out of His mercy, not His anger, He removes certain people from your path. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Not to break you, but to build you. Not to leave you empty, but to make space for something far better. We often hold on tightly, thinking that letting go will destroy us. But Allah knows that holding on may be what? Destroys us instead. So He gently or sometimes painfully teaches us a lesson. If someone was meant to stay, no force on earth could remove them. And if Allah removes them, then their presence was no longer good for your dunya or your akhirah or your heart. So when people walk away, when doors close, when relationships end, don't rush to bitterness. Pause, reflect, and say, Alhamdulillah, Ya Allah. You know what I do not know. Because sometimes the greatest mercy comes wrapped in loss, and sometimes the biggest blessing is the person Allah removes from your life. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most difficult realities for the human, hard to accept, is that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. We grow attached easily. We invest emotions, time, trust, and sometimes our very peace into people. And when Allah removes someone, the pain is not small. It cuts deep. But this is where faith is tested, because behind every removal is divine wisdom, even when the heart struggles to understand it. Allah, the most merciful, never takes something away without a reason. Sometimes He removes people because they were a distraction from your purpose. You were becoming too attached to the creation and slowly forgetting the Creator. Your reliance shifted. Your happiness became dependent on a person instead of Allah. So Allah, out of love, removes that attachment to pull your heart back to Him. It hurts. Yes, but it heals something far deeper within you. At times, Allah removes people because they were harming you in ways you could not see. Maybe not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, or mentally. Perhaps they normalized sin in your life. Perhaps they planted doubts, negativity, arrogance, or hopelessness in your heart. And you tolerated it because you loved them, because you were used to them. Because letting go felt scarier than staying. Allah saw the damage forming long before you felt it, so He intervened. There are moments when Allah removes people simply because they were only meant to be part of a chapter, not the whole story. And we struggle with that. We want permanence in everything. But Allah designed life with seasons. Some people are lessons. Some are tests. Some are blessings for a time. And when their role is complete, Allah closes that door. Holding on after that only prolongs the pain. Many people ask, why did Allah remove them without warning? But the truth is, Allah often gives signs. We just ignore them. The discomfort, the repeated hurt, the unanswered dues, the unrest in the heart. We keep asking Allah to fix the person, while Allah is trying to free us from the situation. And when we don't walk away on our own, Allah steps in and does it for us. Understand this deeply. If Allah removes someone from your life, it is never because you are worthless. It is never because you are unlovable. And it is never because you failed. Sometimes it is because Allah values you so much that He refuses to let you stay connected to what will break you. He refuses to let you remain in an environment that will stun your growth or damage your akhirah. And yes, sometimes Allah removes people to teach us a lesson. Not to humiliate us, but to elevate us. To teach us boundaries. To teach us reliance. Teach us that not everyone who smiles with you is meant to walk with you. These lessons are painful, but they make you wiser, stronger, and more conscious of Allah. What hurts the most is when Allah removes someone you made dua for, someone you thought was the answer. But remember, Allah is as Sami and Al-Basir. He heard your dua, but He also saw the future you could not see. He saw the tears that relationship would cause. He saw the distance it would create between you and Him. So He answered your dua in a different way by removing what was not good for you. When Allah removes people, He is also making space. Space for peace, space for growth, space for people who will bring you closer to Him, not further away. But if your hands are still tightly holding onto what Allah removed, you will never be ready to receive what He wants to give you next. So don't beg Allah to return what He took away. Instead, ask Him for understanding, healing and trust. Say, Ya Allah, if you remove them, then place contentment in my heart. Because true faith is not questioning Allah's decisions, but finding peace in them even when they hurt. And always remember this, whoever Allah removes was never your source. Allah was. And Allah will always remain. My beloved brothers and sisters, trusting Allah's plan when it hurt is one of the highest levels of faith and also one of the hardest. Anyone can say, I trust Allah when life is smooth, when people stay, when things go according to our expectation. But true trust is revealed when your heart is aching, when tears fall in sujood, and you still say, Ya Allah, I know you know best. When Allah removes someone from your life, the pain often comes from not understanding the reason. We replay memories, conversations, moments of laughter and promises that were made. We ask ourselves, what went wrong? A trust in Allah means accepting that not everything is meant to be understood immediately. Some answers come years later. Some answers only come in the akhirah. And some answers never come at all. But peace still does if you allow Allah into your heart. Trusting Allah does not mean you won't feel pain. Even the prophets felt sorrow. Yaqub alayhi salam cried until his eyesight faded. Our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam felt deep grief at the loss of Khadijah radiyallahu anha. Pain does not mean weak iman. Pain means you are human. Trusting Allah means you don't let that pain push you away from Him. Instead, you let it bring you closer. Sometimes we trust Allah with our tongues, but not with our hearts. We say, Qadr Allah. But inside we are angry, resentful, questioning. Trust is surrender. It is saying, Ya Allah, this hurts me, but I still believe you chose this for a reason. It is placing your broken heart in the hands of the one who created, knowing He is the only one who can heal it properly. Allah's plan often feels confusing because we see life from a very narrow perspective. We see today, maybe tomorrow. Allah sees your entire lifetime, and beyond that, your akhirah. He knows which relationships will pull you closer to Jannah and which ones will slowly drag you away. So when Allah removes someone, He is not just managing your emotions, He is protecting your destiny. There are moments when we think, if only this person stayed, I would be happier. But that is an assumption based on emotion, not knowledge. Allah does not operate on assumptions. He operates on certainty. He knows what that relationship would have become. He knows the arguments, the heartbreak, the compromises you would have made in your faith, the tears you would have cried alone. Trusting Allah means believing that He saved you from a future you were not strong enough to handle. And sometimes Allah removes people to redirect you. You were walking towards something that felt right, but it wasn't good. So Allah blocks the path. At first you feel lost, directionless. But later, you realize that closed door forced you to turn towards something better. Many of us can look back now and say, if Allah had answered my dua the way I wanted back then, I would not be where I am today. That realization only comes with trust and time. Trust also means understanding that Allah's delays and removals are not rejections. Allah is never cruel. If He takes something away, it is either because it expired, it was harmful, or it was replacing your reliance on Him. And when Allah removes, He compensates. Maybe not in the same form, maybe not immediately, but always in a way that is better for your soul. When trust is weak, we chase what Allah removed. We beg for it back. We reopen wounds. We stalk the past. But trust teaches you to let go with dignity. To say, Ya Allah, if you remove this, then help me accept it. Acceptance is not instant. It is a journey. Some days are easier than others. But every time you choose trust over resentment, your heart becomes lighter. One of the most beautiful forms of trust is silence. Not complaining to anyone. Not exposing your pain unnecessarily, but turning to Allah in the quiet of the night. When no one sees your tears except Him. That is where trust is built. That is where healing begins. Remember this, my brothers and sisters, Allah does not break hearts for entertainment. He breaks hearts to rebuild them stronger, softer, and more connected to Him. If Allah allowed you to feel this pain, it means He knows you are strong enough to carry it. And that through it, you will grow closer to Him. So trust Allah, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, because the hand that removed is the same hand that will heal. And the heart that relies on Allah will never be left empty. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest misunderstandings we have about loss is that when Allah removes someone from our lives, we assume it means we are being deprived. But in reality, very often, Allah is not taking something away. He is giving us something far greater in return. Growth, protection, and redirection are among the hidden gifts that come through removal. Even though at first they feel like punishment, Allah protects us in ways we do not recognize immediately. Sometimes He shields you from harm that is not visible on the surface. A person may appear kind, familiar, even loving, but Allah knows what lies ahead. He knows how that connection would slowly drain your energy, your confidence, your values, or your relationship with Him. So He removes them early, before the damage becomes permanent. At the time, you feel abandoned, but in reality, you were rescued. Protection also comes from being saved, from becoming someone you were never meant to be. There are relationships that require you to shrink yourself, to silence your conscience, to compromise your principles. You slowly become a version of yourself that feels heavy, confused, and distant from Allah. Allah loves you too much to let you lose yourself. So He removes the influence that was shaping you in the wrong direction and returns you to who you truly are. With removal comes growth. Pain forces reflection. When everything is comfortable, we rarely change. But when Allah removes someone we depended on, we are pushed to stand on our own, and more importantly, to lean on Him. You begin to discover strengths you never knew you had. You learn patience, emotional maturity, self-respect, and reliance upon Allah. These qualities are not built in ease, they are built in hardship. Growth also means clarity. After Allah removes someone, and time passes, you often see the situation more clearly than before. You recognize red flags you once ignored. You understand why your heart unsettled even when you tried to convince yourself everything was fine. That clarity is a gift from Allah. It helps you make better choices moving forward and prevents you from repeating the same mistakes. Allah also removes people to redirect your life. You thought your path was fixed. You had plans, expectations, and dreams tied to certain people. But Allah, the best of planners, had a different destination for you. So He redirects your journey by changing the people around you. At first, the road feels unfamiliar and lonely. But every step is leading you closer to where you need to be. Even if you don't see it yet, redirection can feel like delay or failure, but it is neither. It is Allah aligning your life with your purpose. Sometimes you were walking towards something good, but Allah wanted something better for you. And sometimes you were walking towards something that looked good, but would have harmed your iman or your future. So Allah intervenes, even if it means breaking your heart temporarily. One of the most powerful signs of divine redirection is peace after pain. Not immediately, but gradually. One day you wake up and realize the heaviness is gone. You smile without forcing it. You breathe without anxiety. That is when you understand that Allah did not remove peace from your life. He removed what was disturbing it. Protection, growth, and redirection also prepare you for what is coming next. Allah does not remove without replacing. He removes what no longer serves you to make room for what will elevate you. But if you cling to what Allah took away, you delay the arrival of what He has prepared for you. Letting go is not weakness, it is trust. There is also protection in loneliness. When Allah removes people, He sometimes leaves you alone, so you can hear your own heart again and hear Allah more clearly. In solitude, you reconnect with your values, your goals, and your purpose. You realize that your worth was never dependent on who stayed or who left. Many people only realize the blessing of removal years later. They look back and say, if that person stayed, I would not be who I am today. That realization brings gratitude, not resentment. It brings humility and a deeper trust in Allah's wisdom. So when Allah removes people from your life, do not rush to despair. You are not being abandoned, you are being protected. You are being shaped. You are being redirected. And every step, even the painful ones, is moving you closer to a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and closer to Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, letting go with faith instead of resentment is one of the most liberating yet challenging acts of the heart. When Allah removes someone from your life, the natural response of the nafs is anger, bitterness, and self-pity. We ask, why me? We replay events again and again, hoping to find someone to blame, sometimes the other person, sometimes ourselves, and sometimes, dangerously, even Allah. But faith teaches us a higher response. Surrender with trust, not resistance with resentment. Resentment poisons the heart slowly. It keeps you tied to what Allah already removed. You may no longer speak to the person, but they still live rent-free in your thoughts. Every memory reopens the wound. Every comparison steals your peace. And the tragedy is this: the person may have left your life, but resentment keeps them alive in your heart. Faith, on the other hand, sets you free. Letting go with faith does not mean pretending you were not hurt. Islam never teaches emotional denial. Even the most righteous felt pain. But faith changes how you carry that pain. Instead of saying, I was wronged, faith says, Allah saw what I did not. Instead of saying, I lost, faith says, Allah chose differently for me. This shift is not instant, it is intentional. It takes conscious effort to choose trust over bitterness again and again. Resentment often comes from the illusion of control. We believe that if things went differently, we would be happier. But faith reminds us that happiness was never in people, it was always in Allah when you let go. With faith, you acknowledge that Allah was in control all along. That what left your life did so with His permission, not by accident, not by injustice, not by chaos. Sometimes resentment builds because we feel unappreciated. We gave our time, our loyalty, our heart. And when the relationship ends, it feels like all of that was wasted. But faith teaches us that nothing done sincerely is ever wasted. Allah sacrificed every tear, even if people did not value you. Allah did. And that is enough. Letting go with faith also means releasing the need for closure. Many people stay stuck because they want explanations, apologies, or validation. But not all chapters close neatly. Some doors close silently. Faith allows you to move forward without answers, knowing that Allah's knowledge is enough even when explanations are absent. There is a powerful form of worship in letting go gracefully. No insults, no revenge, no exposing faults, just dignity and dua. When you choose not to harm back, not to speak ill, not to harden your heart, Allah elevates you. This is not weakness. This is strength guided by Iman. Faith also softens the heart. So resentment does not turn into hatred. Hatred darkens the soul. It affects how you see others. It affects your trust, your joy, your relationships going forward. Letting go with faith protects you from becoming bitter, closed, and suspicious of everyone. It preserves your ability to love again, wisely and within boundaries. Sometimes the hardest part is accepting that Allah allowed the pain. But remember, Allah allows pain not to destroy you, but to purify you. Resentment asks, why did this happen to me? Faith asks, what is Allah teaching me through this? That question transforms pain into purpose. When you let go with faith, you stop chasing the past. You stop trying to resurrect what Allah has already buried. You stop measuring your worth by who stayed or who left. Instead, you anchor your heart in something unshakable, the decree of Allah. And in that anchoring, you find peace. My brothers and sisters, resentment chains you to yesterday. Faith carries you forward. Choose faith, choose trust. Choose to say, Ya Allah, I release what you removed and I place my heart back in your care. Because the heart that lets go for Allah will never be left empty by Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful outcomes of trusting Allah when He removes people from your life is the peace that eventually settles in your heart. Finding peace in what Allah chooses for you does not mean life suddenly becomes perfect or painless, but it means your heart stops fighting reality. And when the heart stops fighting the decree of Allah, tranquility begins. Many of us believe peace comes when things happen the way we want. But that is not peace, that is control. True peace comes when you accept things the way Allah wants. When Allah removes someone from your life, the F screams in protest. It wants answers, fairness, and immediate comfort. But peace comes when you gently quiet that voice and remind yourself, Allah chose this, and Allah is never unjust. At first, peace feels impossible. The heart feels restless, unsettled, heavy. You may still function, but inside there is noise, memories, questions, what ifs. This is part of the process. Peace is not an instant switch. It is a gradual gift Allah places in the heart of the one who keeps turning back to Him despite the pain. Finding peace begins with acceptance. Acceptance does not mean you agree with what happened emotionally. It means you acknowledge that it happened by Allah's will. You stop bargaining with the past. You stop wishing you could rewrite what Allah already decreed. You say, Qaddar Allahu wa ma sha'a fa'al. And even if your heart trembles, your soul bows in submission. Peace grows when you stop comparing your life to others. Many people lose peace, not because of what they lost, but because they see others still holding what they themselves lost. Faith teaches you that Allah distributes lives differently. Someone else's story is not your standard. Allah tailored your journey specifically for you with wisdom, precision, and care. Another door to peace is gratitude. Not forced gratitude, but reflective gratitude. You begin to thank Allah for what the removal saved you from, even if you cannot fully see it yet. You thank Him for the strength you gained, the lessons you learned, the clarity you received. Gratitude softens pain and transforms loss into growth. Peace also comes when you detach your worth from people. When someone leaves, it often shakes your sense of value. You wonder if you were enough, if you mattered. But peace enters when you remember that your worth was defined by Allah long before anyone entered your life. You were honored the moment Allah created you. No departure can take that away. One of the quietest forms of peace is when you stop explaining your pain to everyone. When you no longer feel the need to justify, defend, or prove your hurt. You realize that Allah knows, and that is sufficient. That silence is not loneliness, it is maturity. As peace settles, you begin to make dua differently. Not asking Allah to return what He removed, but asking Him to fill your heart with contentment. Not asking for the same people, but asking for better companionship, better environments, and a better relationship with Him. These do, as are answered in ways that surprise you. With peace comes patience. You stop rushing healing. You allow yourself to feel, to grow, to move forward at a pace Allah knows is right for you. You trust that time, under Allah's command, will soften what once felt unbearable. And one day, without announcement, peace arrives. You think of the past, and it no longer stings. You remember names, and your heart remains calm. You smile genuinely, not out of pretense. That is when you know Allah has healed you, not by returning what you lost, but by giving you something far greater, inner contentment. My beloved brothers and sisters, peace is not found in holding on. Peace is found in surrender. When you accept what Allah chooses, even when it differs from your desires, Allah replaces restlessness with serenity. And that peace given by Allah is worth more than anything or anyone He ever removes.